This is Sherry from True Tarot for today, and this is going to be your monthly reading for April 2019. And we're going to look at the general forecast for you, the general energies that may come up for you in the month of April. Okay, so in your first house, Taurus, everyone is seeing you as very busy this month. They're not really seeing you. They're seeing you running around, juggling a lot of different things on the go, maybe holding two jobs or managing your finances, busy, busy, busy. It can be managing a household. So, everybody's going to just see you as, on the go, on the move, and busy. They're not going to get any emotional vibe from you. They may not even get a lot of communication from you. You're going to be out there, but you're almost going to be a little unavailable because you have many projects or many coals on the fire. So they're seeing you as a busy person in the month of April, getting things done, running around errands back and forth, traveling maybe to get things done. Okay, in your second house of money, Taurus, you're very ambitious. This is the card of willpower, some degree of self-control, but it's ambition and it's a desire to get somewhere in life and be in the driver's seat. So, you're kind of taking control of your finances. Some of you may have gotten taxes back and you're deciding how you're going to use, that money. For others of you, you might be steering your investment goals. And instead of having other people do it, you might be investing in Bitcoin or your own feeling about your finances. And, just be aware that, Uranus is in your sign, for the next 7 years plus. So you're going to have a lot of strange ups and downs because that's what Uranus really does when it hits your sign. And so, maybe you have an instinct about that and you're getting ambitious with, how you're investing, your savings, your 401k, or you're just ambitious to make more money and, put yourself out there and succeed. That's the card of success. Okay, in your environment, this can be family, it can be siblings, it can be cousins, it can be neighbors, it can also be online communications. There's a new energy showing up, and this can be a person or an enterprise or even the birth of a child. So for some of you, you may be hearing about a sibling or a neighbor starting a new business, or maybe a new neighbor moved in. It's definitely a fresh new start. So spring is, hitting, and someone in your environment is experiencing a new beginning, and it's kind of stealing the show. If it's not in your environment, you may be launching a new business online or beginning a new project through communication. In today's society, there's many avenues of publication and communication with the internet, and so many of you may be launching something in the month of April. Some of you just may be hearing about the birth of a child or someone starting a new business or moving into a new home. But it's fresh, new energy, so that's nice. It gives everybody a little bit of motivation, and it's exciting, it's creative. In your home, Taurus, you have an interesting card. This is the card of separation. Some of you may have gotten a divorce or will be getting a divorce. Some of you may be ending a lease or you finalized the sale of a home. But this is usually like a legal card. It can sometimes indicate a child that has graduated from school and will be separating from the nest. But if any of you are not working with legal things from the home, this does indicate some separation and a final decision. So perhaps you or your mate have made a final decision on, something that involves their work, their family, a lawsuit. But that energy is pervading the home right now, that there's been an ending a conclusion and a separation. And so if there's other individuals in your home, like I said, your children, they might have completed school, and they're going away, they're going to be leaving for college, and you're feeling that. Your mate might have left a job and you're going to be feeling that. Someone who lives with you or your landlord, there could be a change in your lease. One lease ending and another beginning. But I read this card usually as a separation or a legal issue. So, that's going to be pervading the energy in your home. With your children, you have a happiness card. This is also the fifth house represents new relationships. So, in either case, whether it's someone new in your life, and I consider that a person that came into your life within the last 3 years, if it's a romantic relationship, if it's your children and even your pets, we can stretch that too. You're getting a lot of enjoyment and you're going to have a lot of fun in the spring with your children, with your pets, or a lot of fun with a new romance in your life. This is the card of eating, drinking, socializing, and enjoying yourselves. I call it the party card. So life won't be boring in the month of April for you guys. Now, with your health, the sixth house, or your work, there is going to be some kind of a shake-up or shake-down, so you should be prepared for that. This is the card of surprises and hearing, strange or shocking news. Hopefully it's not in your health house. If it's in your health house, you may find that you have a condition that you really had no idea or you were not at all aware of it because you had no symptoms. So April might be a good month for some of you Taurians to get a checkup. If you've already got a checkup, the test results may, seem a little bit shocking to you, so you want to get a second opinion. If it's your work house, it doesn't have to directly affect you. It can be a coworker that suddenly gets canned or fired. It can be that you hear your company may be closing in a year. You may hear that your company got bought out, your company's merging, you're taking on another position. So, usually, this card can be read, as more of a negative surprise than a positive surprise. But like I said, it doesn't always directly affect you. It can be someone in your work environment that tells you surprising or shocking news, and sometimes that can be rumors. It doesn't necessarily have to be true, but whether it's your health or your work environment or your position at work or some project that you're working on in work, there is going to be a surprise element there. So be prepared for the unexpected, whether it's your health or your work. It's not a great card to get, and I read honestly. So if any of you have some sneaking suspicion that you do have an underlying health problem, you really do want to hear the news, because then you can take action and treat the condition rather than, it's kind of like, you have time to troubleshoot, whatever this imbalance is in your health. If it's a coworker or someone at work, you can't control that. You're just going to hear it, and you're going to be very surprised. Okay, in your partnership house, you have a really nice card. So for those of you that are romantically involved, you do have two nice cards. This is the card in your partnership house of fertility. So we have to be careful for those of you Taurians that don't want to get pregnant. That's one of the meanings of this card. The other meanings are that one of your partners is a very productive, generous, earth mother, quality person, a real nurturer. And in general readings, this can go male or female. It doesn't necessarily have to be a female. Many times chefs will have this card. because they're constantly feeding and nurturing people. But it's saying that one of your relationships is a very fertile, positive relationship that gives you a lot of nourishment and support. And it's very grounded energy, it's very natural energy. You may have a partner that loves to cook or garden or just has a really nice home and shares that with people. It can be a person that's a great mother or a great parent, and they create an environment where everybody feels, taken care of and supported and comfortable. So this is saying, Taurus, that you've had the good sense to form a good partnership, and it's going to be very pleasant for you in the month of April. However, when we get to your bedroom, this is the 8th house. It can also represent not just your intimate life, but shared resources. And it can also represent legacies. So because some of you do have the separation or the legal card in your home, if this was a battle with a divorce or custody or something to do with shared resources, you're going to feel annoyed by it. You're going to feel it's a struggle. You're going to feel resentful that you have to put this energy in to demand what's yours and have people understand your boundaries and not, feel put upon or taken advantage of. And if this was a past relationship that you've ended and you now have this new energy, which is very supportive, you're going to carry that to the bedroom where you're going to be a little defensive because you've dealt with a lot of annoyance, from people thinking that your things are their things or wanting it or, like I said, not understanding, your need for privacy. Some of you may have a partner that's a lot of fun and very enjoyable, but also doesn't understand your boundaries in the bedroom, or, like you may not be sexually as compatible as you'd like, because this is a card where you're on the defensive a little bit. So you'll have to determine, how this is affecting you, Taurians, in your bedroom or with your shared resources. Okay, in your 9th house, this is the house of higher education. It's also the house of publishing. It can be the house of travel and legal issues. And you have the King of Wands here. So you're all you Taurians are going to have strong energy in one of those departments in the month of April. So if it's traveling, you're going to be planning the great trip, where you really enjoy yourself and it's a little hedonistic and, you get back to your center. And it's a little selfish, let's say, this trip. If it's publishing, it's getting your name out there because this is very entrepreneurial. It could be even publishing a business or using the online, whatever you want to call it, instruments to launch some entrepreneurial business or project. If it's a legal issue, this could be the person you're involved with in this legal battle, or it could represent a very energetic, confident lawyer. Again, there's some ego with this personality, but they have energy and enthusiasm, and they do get things done. So whether, it's travel, publishing, this is a positive card. It's somebody who's a go-getter, who's entrepreneurial, and who has a lot of creative energy and confidence. Now, what's funny is you have the love card in your career house. The 10th house is representing your career. So for some of you Tauruses, your career is finding, love and finding a mutual soulmate. You may have a job, but a lot of you Taurians are getting hit with a serious spring fever whammy here, because most people don't see finding a mate as their job or their career, but secretly many of you in April are going to be feeling like it's your job to find the right person, to find your soulmate. For some of you, if you're working, you would have a good friendship, or a friendship with someone at work, and the two of you partner up and you're both on the same page, and it's very emotionally satisfying to work with this person. Some of you may be seeing your career as finding a mate, to get married and to leave the career that you really value, love, and you're just working to find your mate. But it's not a usual card, to have, unless you're like a marriage counselor or you're someone whose career or vocation deals with couples and them being happy. I mean, maybe we could stretch this to finding homes in real estate for newlyweds who are looking for their first home. But a love card, and a friendship card in the career, top house of this zodiac spread is not typically normal. So I really believe many of you Taurians secretly feel that, your job is to find your other half, your real job. Now, with your friendships, you have somebody who is in your life that has a need to know. So a lot of you are friends with someone who's very curious, very precocious. They're not shy about asking questions. I call this the I Spy card. It's usually an air sign, a Libra, a Gemini, Aquarius. It's somebody who has a young personality, constantly curious, asks a lot of questions. So a lot of you Tauruses are going to be hanging out with this friend, and they do bring you out in conversation. Sometimes you may feel they're interviewing you. You may feel they're looking at your social media, they're watching you. It's a mental personality. So they're engaging, and like I said, they're fun. I mean, they're very intellectual. They have a need to know. And this is the person who's showing up right now as your friend. So for some of you, it can even be a younger person because it's a page. It can also mean that one of your friends does a lot of research. I mean, that's possible with this card. It can be a person that's always looking at social media and finding out what's going on with everyone. So, like I said, this is in your friendship house. The only other way I can read this is that you're vetting your friends better and you're finding out who they are before you get close to them, because Taurians are very loyal people, and you may have had a situation with this separation card in your home or the surprise at work where you're just going to be a little maybe less trusting, and you may need to find out some answers from people as well in the month of April. And then finally in your 12th house, it's very similar to what you had in your 8th house. And your 8th house reflected either your intimate, bedroom life or shared legacies, inheritances, resources. And you have two wand cards showing up. Wands mean energy, they mean fire. It's not your suit. So in the month of April, this gets very activated, and these cards both magnify each other because, again, in the 12th house, the energy is very similar to your bedroom. So you're taking people's trespasses quite seriously in the month of April. You're nobody's fool. This is the card that says you fought to get where you've gotten in life. You've gone through your battles emotionally, economically, spiritually. You've, maintained your position, but that's not to say that it was all easy. And so the 12th house is sometimes the house that you haven't mastered yet. And in the month of April, I think a lot of you Taurians are going to be thinking about, are you being a little over defensive, keep off the grass kind of psychology with people, enter if you will, if you dare, beware. This is the card where you're definitely not going to give people more ground than they deserve. They are not going to stomp on your territory. They're not going to take things from you just because you have. And again, there's some resentment about always having to put, people in their place and to educate them about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate in terms of boundaries. So, and this can be in business, it can be where you live, it can be family members overstepping, poking into your business. But anyway, you haven't mastered this yet. So for my advice, because Taurians, you're pretty slow and steady and measured, you have to learn on a continual basis to gently, almost like treat people like children, tap them on the wrist and wink at them or smile and say, did I ask you your opinion? Like be firm, be a little polite, when you're disciplining them about, what's appropriate and what's not. And I think if you do this on a constant basis, gently, even though you resent it and get annoyed that you have to keep doing it, I think, that the anger or the pressure won't build up to the point where you feel put upon or taken advantage of, because it is affecting, your intimate life for some of you, where again you're just feeling a struggle or it's getting worked out in, with your partner, your intimate partner, rather than, all of the people that are annoying you and taking, things for granted or just thinking they deserve something. So you have some really nice cards, Taurus. It looks like there's good love, and you do have some giving, nurturing partnerships in your life. So you just have to determine, if there are people around you that you feel you have to battle it out with or apply psychic energy to keep them, sort of out of your hair. You're going to have to develop better skills of communication. And that way, when you're enjoying your intimate time with someone, that this energy of feeling put upon doesn't ruin, your romantic energy or your romantic life. And you're going to have to take a firm position, and be confident if, you have some baggage or collateral damage from a past relationship that still feels entitled to things or knows how to push your buttons and annoy you. And so that's going to be one of your challenges, for the month of April, Taurians. And then for, your career and how the world sees you, many of you may be partners in a business with a friend, but if not, many of you Taurians want to find love, and that's really going to be your concern, your real vocation in the next couple of months, because there's a real urge to merge with this card, and it's not typical in the career house. And then in your home you have the separation card, so you'll have to figure out, how this applies to you. And I hope that, you check your health if you feel you have something going on. It's better to know than not know. And then to work out a therapy, with a, provider, so that you can have control over the situation. And, be prepared at work. Maybe some of you could fall in love at work too. That's possible because you have this kind of surprise or shock card. You may find out that someone, in your profession, is very sweet on you, and it could lead to a serious, relationship. Okay, guys, I hope you have a great April. And if you like my videos, please like or subscribe. And I will see you next month. You take care. Bye.